So welcome everyone, and it's spring break, so there are signs of life. I see some daffodils outside of my window blooming. I'm going to teach you how to rock your resume. Or if I want to be very goofy, I am a little bit goofy. Shamrock your resume. Okay, so ooh, yeah, I'll stick to my day job. But I do want to get you all to use your annotate tool. So if you don't know how to use that, if you hover toward the top, you'll have a little pencil that shows up and it says annotate. And if you click that, you have options to use stamps or to free write with your mouse. That can be a little awkward, or you can use the text tool. So those of you who know how to do it, thank you, Jessica. All right, Mary. If you know how to use that, great. If you don't, do not stress out. Or if you want to play with it, then hey, it's an opportunity to learn a little bit. All right, there we go. We have a beautiful figure. Thank you, Chris. Okay, so we know how to use that. That's awesome. Okay, I am going to now erase your beautiful artistic work here. Okay, so thank you so much. I am Wendi Karle, and I'm here.
I'm sorry.
You're okay.
I didn't know it was on. I thought it was on my screen only. I apologize.
It's okay. Not a big deal. I'm glad that you know how to use it. So I'm Wendi Karle, and I'm the career coach at the Lawrenceburg campus and Batesville site. So down south and near Cincinnati and Florence, Kentucky, and all of that. So I'm happy to be here. I thank you for taking your time out of your spring break to learn how to rock your resume. So let's get started. For our agenda, we're just going to go over some basics. And so I get excited sometimes and I want to go on and on and on, but I promise I'll stick to this agenda here with our types of resumes, formatting, some bad examples and some great examples, and looking to see all the cool things that are in Hire Ivy. And then we'll end with cover letters and then any discussion questions. However, if you have a question in the middle, please throw yourself off mute, put something in the chat. I'm happy to answer things or wait till the end if you like, no problem. So let's do a little bit of a question here, and you can use your annotate, or you can put it in the chat, or you can throw yourself off mute and answer. So just for our rock and resume theme, I've started with over 12,000 genres of music. And according to careerplanner.com, there are over 12,000 careers worldwide and over 10 million employers in the United States. So those are some big numbers. So kind of with those numbers in your head, how many types of resumes are there? What do you think? Again, you are free to annotate or come off mute. This can kind of be a little bit of a trick question. All right. So I see some signs of life on the annotation.
And in the chat, we have 3, 4, 5, 7, 20.
Okay. Okay. Okay, great. Well, I will answer that. And this can be, I'm gonna give you 2 answers here in a moment. But as far as basic styles, there are 3 types of resumes, okay? And just FYI, there are also 3 types of guitars, which I learned from building this presentation. You have your acoustic guitar, your classic guitar, and your electric. Now, within those, there are an infinite number of subgenres. And same kind of goes for resumes, because we have the 3 types. We have chronological, which is more of reverse chronological. You probably know that, beginning with the most recent experience. And then we have functional resumes, which is a skills-based resume, and it requires a killer cover letter. And then we have our combination resumes, which is a combination of skills, and then ends with work history with that reverse chronological history. So depending on where you are and your education and your experience will depend on what that looks like. So I'll show you. Actually, let me ask you a question first. Let's annotate. Which one of these 3 do you think is the most common? And so you can use your annotate and circle or check mark the most common. Okay, the combination, All right, good, good. I like it. Functional's not getting any love, huh?
I personally love functional.
I do too, and especially if you're changing careers, I think that's a smart choice. Chronological is the winner. It doesn't mean it's the best, okay? And in fact, none of these is the best. It just depends on what your needs are. So, but that is the winner of the most common. And let's see if I can get my links to work. Let me come off here. So here's an example of a functional, and gosh, I know that's difficult to read, but you can see there's a skills summary here and professional accomplishments. And then little itty bitty, you can see the work history. So it's the work history is still there. It's just not prevalent. And the same thing with our combination. We can see here, sorry, yeah, I wish that was so bigger, but really focusing, here's my profile, here are my skills, and now here's my work history. So it's just not taking front and center, okay, like your traditional chronological resume. Okay, so let's go over, here's the second answer to that question. We have 3 types of resumes, but if we look at all the people that are in the United States, there's one resume for each one of you. So resumes are like snowflakes. They're all different. And sometimes that can be frustrating because if you're a creature of habit or you like to follow rules and standards, this can bug you a little bit. If you're taking classes and you have a paper coming up, your instructor probably tells you exactly to use MLA or APA format, and we don't necessarily get that for resumes. So there's all kinds of different styles and creativity, but we really don't want to get too wild on the resume. So if you follow these basic rules, you'll still have room for a little bit of creativity, but it'll still be easy to read because whatever we do, we want the focus to be on your skills, your experience, your education, and not how fancy your resume looks. So for font style, we want it to be easy to read. So Times New Roman, Arial, Calibri, and there are some more out there that are just standardly easy to read. Same with font size. We don't want you to use 100, font. Your name, remember me. It's probably not going to work in the way that you want it to. So we really want to stick with some basic font sizes up to 16. You can make it larger for your headings and subheadings. But your content should be in the 10 to 12 range. If it gets too small, then we can't read it. So we don't want our recruiter or hiring manager to struggle while reading your resume. Same thing with the margins. We've all probably been guilty of playing with margins when writing a paper and trying to get it to fit into the parameters. We don't want to do that. Follow either 1/2 inch. If you really want to squeeze in an extra line or two, you can make it 1/2 inch. But of course, standard is your 1 inch. And 1 to 2 pages. Even if you have had 30 years experience, you really want to keep it, you definitely want to keep it no more than 2 pages, okay? And 1 is usually preferred. And then here's something that maybe we don't think about when you're saving your resume, use your name to label it. So keep in mind, you are submitting your resume to employers and you want them to be able to find it. They're going to be saving it. So use your first initial last name or your whole name together to make it easy for them and save it as a PDF. The last thing that you want is for your resume to get into someone's hands and have someone else be able to manipulate that information. So save it as a PDF. Also, do not include references. So far, I've received, I've had about 5 recent resumes here in the last few days, and all of them have included references. So they need to come to career camp. But can anyone come off mute and tell me why not to include references on a resume? Come off mute. Like.
I'll come off mute.
Okay. Oops.
I was writing a note, but I wanted to make sure that everybody knew when you're uploading your resume to Hire Ivy for us to review for you. It's helpful if it's in a doc form so we can add comments and help you format it. Okay.
Yes, thank you for that. You do want your career coach to help you with your resume, that's for sure. So
In
for
the chat-
references, go ahead.
Yeah, in the chat, Zachary says prompts for contact. Sharonda says lack of application to a job. The question is, why don't you include references on your resume, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So think of this. First of all, the job of the resume is to get you the interview. You have to prove yourself on the interview. And then if they want to move forward, then they'll ask you for references. At this point, it's not the time. Okay. So you want to save that, have references, have a document ready to go, have people contacted who know that they are references and ready to go, let them know you're interviewing, but you wait on that. And you can bring a paper with you to the interview, or you can include it later if they ask for it, but it's a little bit presumptuous just to include it on there. And you want your resume to be about you. You are the only person that you want that hiring manager to think about is your name. No one else's name at this point, okay? All right, got that cleared. So let's move on. So we have that basic format, even though you have a little bit of creativity here and there. Let's look at how to get started. This is your first impression, okay? Just like when you walk in a door, your first impression is whatever it is. Your header is too. So these are just few examples. There are many ways you can do it. You can have it centered on the left, on the right, however you want. But I want to point out a couple of things. On this first one, you'll see the complete addresses here. On the other two, they're not. Any ideas why Ivy Jones has left her street off of the address? Okay, so we don't need the full address in this day and age. First of all, no one, I'm going to say this loosely, you're probably not going to be contacted by snail mail, okay? You're probably going to be emailed or someone's going to call you. So it's not necessary. Also, we want to eliminate any kind of address bias. It doesn't matter whether you're from this side or that side or up and down from the tracks, does not matter. So we don't need any kind of bias on that. And there's also a protection factor. You're probably submitting online, and we want to keep as much information as we can, off of, finding you very easily. So it's a safety thing, but it's also just not necessary at this time. Okay. And again, there are dozens of ways you can format this. So those are not the no and be and all of things. Now, the bad, here's what we don't want you to do. These things can disqualify you before they even get, to the end of your resume. So bad grammar and typos. And while I'm talking, feel free to highlight any bad grammar and typos, okay? Wink, wink. All right, personal information and pronouns. We don't want to use I, me, my, we. I did this, we did that. My boss thought I was great. There are no personal pronouns in a resume. Use your verbs, okay? Stick with consistent tense. You can use personal pronouns in your cover letter later. Thank you, Chris. You get an A+, all right? And thank you, Lisa. Good. You both get the A+ for today. Okay, good. You've noticed them. So, and of course, I put those on there on purpose. So I'll show you some things that aren't as easy to find. So you would see that, you would know that. But remember, your brain plays tricks on you. You know, when you're typing something, thinking about things, your brain knows what it wants to say. So it's so crucial to have someone else look at your resume, career coach, okay, family, friends, instructors, but always, always have someone else look over your resume. Don't just submit it blindly. And then let's go down to an unprofessional email address. So this one cracks me up because I have had some unprofessional email addresses where, someone, it was like hotmama@yahoo.com. And I'm, it's like, no. Please, please, please. And I had a student that had an email and I said, you might want to use your ivytech email. And he said, well, why? It's funny. Well, it might be funny to you and your friends, but it's not funny or professional to an employer who's looking at your resume. So don't do that. You can use your ivytech email for, I believe, up to 2 years. So be careful. If you have a cute email, that's fine for friends, but that's it. Also, no quantifiable achievements. I don't want you just listing what you did. I want you to say why it's great. And I'll show you that later. And long paragraphs. So we're going to get up to, you know, later, how long an employer spends looking at your resume. And if you have a long paragraph, they're not going to want to read it. You want the information to be boom, boom, boom. Here it is. Use bullet points for that. Also, a generic resume. Now, I do want you to build a generic resume, but then I want you to tailor it to whatever job you're applying. Same goes with the cover letter. So, and I want you to save all of those for your name in this job, your name in that job, so that you can keep track of it. Always, always tailor that resume to the job specifically. And those can be just a little tweak here and there. Doesn't have to be anything major. You're not, you know, rebuilding it from scratch. And we've already covered this. We don't want that resume to be longer than 2 pages. And we want the resume to have its very best friend, the cover letter, attached. So we'll get to that in a moment too. So thank you for catching those typos and bad grammar. By the way, grammar is one of the most misspelled words, that along with misspelled. So here is this is a real objective statement that came into our office. So there were a few things wrong with it. I think you can see the issues, and feel free to annotate if you like to annotate. My goal is to become a board certified behavioral analysis. So this is coming from someone who has a master's degree, and they were actually applying for a position here at Ivy Tech. We were not hiring a board certified behavioral analysis, by the way. So A, it had nothing to do with the job. B, it's got a personal pronoun. C, oh my goodness, hello, okay, wrong word. So this person clearly, in my mind, I always make up stories when I see stuff like this. They were excited and they were in a hurry, and they just, you know, put it in there. They didn't hit spell check clearly, and they sent it off because they were excited. Well, I mean, isn't that kind of sad? You were so excited that you were rejected because you made a really silly mistake. Okay, so it's better to wait and double check it before you hit that submit. And once you hit submit, it's done. Okay, so you can't go back and take that off. So thank you for the annotation. It makes me happy. Okay. Now I need to clear it all. Clear. There we go. Okay, so that one was rejected for sure. Okay. Professional statements. I always take a deep breath on these. They're not required. They do not take the place of a cover letter. And it's really important that they are specific. So we see these a lot, career coaches and career experience specialists. We see these very generic statements that come in. Okay. To secure a challenging position in a reputable organization to expand my learning, knowledge, and skills. Okay. Well, my thought on this one is the employer wants to hire you for what you can do for the company. Okay. Yes, we hope the company is interested in your success and growth, but they're going to hire you because you do something for them. Okay. And I don't know what position you are applying for. And I mean, this could be for any number of positions. Same thing with the second one, to fully utilize, and there's my, okay. And then what training and skills, what does that mean? Okay. So this is really boring. I don't like them at all. But I want you to watch this. Okay, so here are some better professional statements. These two you can see, yes, they're longer and they give exact experience. They say what roles these people are applying to. But I got to tell you personally, as a coach, I hate professional statements. And I don't know about others that are on here. I always recommend students remove them, okay, unless they're really, really attached to them. This information should be put in a cover letter. It's taking up too much valuable space on a resume, and that takes up a lot of time. So I really want, I'm looking at your resume, I want to get to your skills, your education, and your experience. And I will read anything else I want in your cover letter. So again, it's one of those things where some people like them, some people don't. I've never heard of someone not getting an interview because they didn't have a professional statement, but I have seen people lose interviews because of their professional statement. So keep that in mind. Okay, so now we're going to look at condensing experience. So many people in this past year are changing jobs, and your past experience is still valuable. I've had several come in that say, oh, well, I did this for 20 years. Like 20 years, that's amazing. You have awesome skills. What you want to do is pull out what's relevant to the program that you're studying and then what you're applying to. So you don't need to list every single little thing. You want to scale it back, choose the things that are most relevant. Okay. If you have 20 plus years of work experience and you're going back to working at Lazarus from a long time ago, you probably want to leave that off. If you have one job where you had that experience, that's amazing. That shows, gosh, that loyalty and dedication to your job. We want to use that. We'll just scale back some of the whatever duties you had back to that relevant. And we also want to be careful. The person reading it is going to see, and it's natural to have a little bit of dating on your resume. I can tell if someone's brand new or someone's got lots of experience, but there are things you can do not to date yourself. So one is to list every single job since high school. Your email also is one of those things. I can say, if you have an AOL account, you probably used Aquanet. Okay, and I'm right there too. If you have an iCloud account, you probably haven't been driving for very long. So use, your Yahoos, your Gmails are safe to use, and going back to that ivytech email is safe to use. And of course, you want to focus on those career highlights. So this is what you don't want to do. Anybody want to read this? And you can raise your hand. Anybody want to read that? I shouldn't see any hands, because I know if I got this, I wouldn't even bother trying to figure out what it says. So that's back to that tiny font, too much information. I mean, what is this? Is it a telephone book, dictionary? Nobody wants to read that. It's definitely not going to get my attention as a resume. Don't like it at all. So we've got to be careful with that. Now, on the flip side, what if I don't have a lot of experience yet? So we tend to get, one of the other brand new students who are just starting, and then students who are changing careers, and we love you all so much. But here's what you can do if you don't have the experience that you want so far. You will start with your education at the top. Anytime you enter a new program, move that education to the top. We want your school name, your location, your expected graduation, expected program completion, however you want to word that. And you do want to start sending that information out prior to graduation. So, because it can take several weeks and sometimes months for employers to get back. So go ahead and get started. List any relevant classes that you're applying for under relevant coursework, especially say for IT positions. You can list exact skills that you have. Now, we don't want it to be a transcript. Okay, so we've got it, we have a fine line between, too much information there. And of course, those part-time jobs, those are people say, well, should I put that on there? Absolutely. Okay, you are working and going to school, and that is a lot. Your internships are amazing, and volunteer work. Employers do count volunteer work just as significant as paid positions, and if not more, because you get it for free. So you're awesome. Of course, any honors awards, anything else you can put on there that's going to make you amazing so that you can rock your resume. Here's an example of someone who, well, again, I'm assuming this person didn't have a lot of information, so they were trying to make up for it with cute font and not capitalizing your name and hi and hello. Okay, this is just goofy. Okay, this makes me not even want to look at the employment, and I can see a tiny bit. There are 2 jobs that are on here, but this resume is focusing on cute font. Okay, and I always thought, never trust anyone who refers to themselves in third person. So sorry, Sarah Duncan, we don't want to work with you. So hopefully Sarah Duncan never shows up at any of these workshops. Now, here's what Sarah Duncan should have done. So if she works part-time somewhere, she can make that part-time job awesome. So we know what someone who works at a fast food restaurant does. We know they take orders. We know that they're preparing food and handling money. We know that. But look at the wording here. Managed and coached customer orders via all channels, counter phone, online drive-through. Love that. Influenced, great verb there. Promoting special offers and deals. And then assisting. Look at these, just these verbs, managed, coached, influenced, assisted. Love that. Love that they're all in the same tense. And then key achievement here at the bottom. So this is fantastic. If this is a marketing person or someone going into business, I'm ready to interview them right now. So there's a difference. And this person could have just put, took orders, handled the money, made some food. They could have done that. But look, they didn't. And we don't want anyone to ever exaggerate. We want it just to be smart and professional. Okay. So love this. Would totally interview that person. Okay. Here's what we don't want. Here's another example of what stands out on this resume. The color pink. Okay. Cool font. They know how to use Canva. Great. I really look at this and I'm just looking at colors. It doesn't stand out to me anything important. So in fact, and what it does is it detracts from the resume. So this is down here, Jess, and I had to look for that information down at the bottom. I mean, your contact information should be easy and at the top and at the front. And the fancy colors and graphics may seem cool to you, but they're also going to make it weird. And because you're applying online, the resume goes into an applicant tracking system that reads it information. It's not going to be able to read this. So this person probably spent a lot of time on this, and I doubt if they're getting any calls. Okay. So don't do that. And then you ready for it? Here comes one. Here comes one. Okay. Don't do this. So hopefully there's some laughing or some eye rolling or it's just some weird. Okay. No one is going to be calling Joseph. Okay.
Too weird.
Too weird. So, of course, I'm exaggerating, but the point is you don't want to get too fancy. Students contact me and they've got, their basic resume and they wanted me to, add sparkle and pixie dust. Okay. Well, no, your pixie dust is you, your skills, your education, not fancy colors and fonts. Okay. So sorry, Pony. We'll go on. You want your resume to be great. You want your resume to beat all the other resumes that come in because it's awesome. It proves that you're qualified and it lands you that interview. So remember, the resume is not to get you the job, it's to get you the interview. So that's the point. Your content is the point. You do want to, as I said before, tailor. So use words and phrases that are from the job posting. Your job posting should be right next to you as you're tailoring your resume. Use the words that they use. And then it's going to earn more than 5 to 10 seconds of the recruiter's attention. So on that initial read, recruiters may only spend 4, 5, 6 seconds putting you in a yes pile or a no pile. So if it earns you more time, that's good, okay? Because now they're looking at it, oh, okay, I see some words here that match our opening, and this person may fit, and there are things I like. So if they're spending more time on it, then hopefully that means you're getting a phone call. Okay, so here are where the awesome resumes are. So follow along. I'm going to take you to Hire Ivy. Hopefully you've been there. If you haven't, that's okay too. I'm going to show you the resources. This is a gold mine of resources for you. So I've gone into my Ivy. And then here, third one over is Hire Ivy. If it's your first time here, it's going to ask you a couple questions. It'll ask you whether you're an alumni, student, or employer. So of course you'll check student. And let's take me there. So I could spend all day on what is in Hire Ivy, but I am going to go just to our point here. Once you're in, and you can follow along if you're with me, go down to student resources and career development portfolio. That's a whole other lesson. But go to the resource toolkit. Okay. This is your best friend. Click there. And you're going to be tempted to view everything in here, but I'm going to take you to the last page. I do encourage you to go back and look at all the other resources that are there. I'm going to the last page. Okay. So starting here, resume templates. These are amazing. Wish these had been around a while ago, but you can find your program. So let me just pick one here. I'll go into, well, we'll go into the School of Arts. You can visit right here and look at this. Each program has its own treasure chest of resume templates. I'm going to just pick a general one here. Click on all of those, and then each one has 5 different examples. Not one is better than the other. They're just a little bit different. So you pick the one that you like. This is where you can get your a little bit creative if you want. But you'll open these up and look at these. These are already formatted. So if you use these, you're already perfect. Okay. You can simply put your name here, put all of your information in here. You can go down, look, I can just, all this is the same for everyone. I can change my city and state. I can change my date. I can put my program information here. If your GPA is brag worthy, then I'll put that in there too. I can look at these skills, and you can use whatever applies to you. Now this one includes volunteer experience. You can simply change that to professional or work experience. It's very clean. If you don't like this one, you can simply hop out of there and go to a different one. But these are ready to go for you. So it just couldn't be any easier. I love that. I was so excited that these are here for you. They're amazing. What we don't want you to use, and you guys on the call can correct me, the Word doc resume templates are awful. Don't use those. When some come through Higher Ivy and I open them up, I do a little like, ooh, okay. Please don't use those. These are here for you. You cannot go wrong with these.
Can I preface what you just said?
Yes.
Or amend? With these templates, these were created in Indy several years ago, so they do need to be updated, and that this treasure trove will be updated on a regular basis. Awesome. However, because it's shared so widely, you want to make sure that that professional summary is customized. Do not repeat it or plagiarize it, because a lot of students do try to do that. They're like, well, it applies to me. But if an employer sees the same phrasing over and over again, they're going to know something's up. So
they definitely will. Don't think they won't. Okay. So I've got a background as an English teacher, and I would read, 90 papers, and instantly one would come up that was so similar to what I had just read every time. So they will notice it. Okay. So you want to be you're individual, and you definitely don't want to lose it. Again, don't use professional statement, get rid of it. So, okay. Another plug for that. Okay. Moving on. Cover letters. Okay. I'm going to skip the video on this one just because of time's sake, but cover letters make a lot of people feel like this lady down here. So I talk to students, they got their resume, and I'll say, what about your cover letter? And they'll go, ooh, I don't know about that. Okay. Your cover letter is very, very important. Okay. So the thing is, not everyone sends a cover letter. Okay. And you want to be different. So this is how employers learn more about you and why you make a great fit. The resume is facts. It's all facts. Where the cover letter, you can show a little bit of your personality in there. Now, you don't want to get any kind of like TMI. You don't want to do that, but you can explain why, if there's a gap in your employment, or why you've changed positions, or if you're relocating, you can put just a little bit of a personal flair that makes them get to know you and want to see your personality. So we want to do that. And as I said before, because not everyone sends a cover letter, that's exactly why you should. You want to be different for good reason. You want to show that you've done your homework. You want the job. You're very serious, and you've written a very intelligent, yet explanation to why you want this job. Okay, so it's your chance to shine. Now, there are some general rules. for formatting cover letters. Okay. The one main rule is that it's a business letter professional format and that it's one page. Okay. So also here's how you can stand out is find out who the hiring manager is. Many times if it's posted on Indeed, you can click on and go to the company website and find out. But if it's not there, make a phone call. Okay. What's the worst that can happen? They can not give you the answer or not know. But if you get that hiring manager's name, it's going to put you, at the front of the pile. So call and get a name if you can. So I know, we all have name recognition. If you are the recruiter and you're going through and you see your name, you're going to stop and pay more attention to that resume. So please, please, please do whatever you can to try and get that person's name. Now, how long should it be? I've already given this away. So 1, 1, 1, 1. Resume can be 1 to 2. Cover letter, I don't care what's going on, 1 page only. 1, 1, 1. Okay. Typically 3 paragraphs. Okay. Now, as far as information, for those of you who are going to like that standard attention, why are you writing? I'm writing because I saw your position for an IT specialist on Indeed.com. So, explain that exactly. I'm applying for your position that was posted last week at this company, and that's why you're writing, okay? Now, you don't ever start with, hello, my name is, but I'm writing to apply. Your interest, what makes you special? Well, for all of you listening, what makes you special? I know, you're right, Daryl. What makes you special, you get the other A, is that you're an ivytech student. Okay, so we definitely have that. You are in school and you're taking these classes, these programs, and you saw this position, and you have now these skills and you have this experience. So you can then use that to create a desire for the hiring manager to want to meet you. So there's a rule of 3 for a lot of things, but if you can list 3 solid accomplishments, and I'm going to go back to, if you're getting ready to graduate, that's a huge accomplishment. So make sure that you use that. Any other skills or volunteers, it doesn't have to be within paid position. You can have other accomplishments, and then end with asking for that interview. Okay, always ask for what you want. Okay. Thank you, Daryl. Love that. Let's move on here. Oh, get rid of that. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so here's just an example of that. You can see it's got a nice, I can find this person's contact information, very nice, easy to read, business letter format. The day is the day that you're sending it. Hopefully you have a name in there. Here is attention, job title, insert right there. Make sure that it's capitalized and spelled correctly, listed exactly as the job posting says. Here's your interest. I've got this professional experience and performance, and I'm the right-hand person. And now as I'm reading this, I think, oh, why is that person, that right hand? I want to find out why. And then here's, they're building a desire. I like that this has the bullets. I don't want everything to be bulleted. I do want you to use full sentences and paragraphs, but if you want to specifically put some bullets in there, you certainly can. And then asking, okay, closing and asking where your action is that you want this interview. So I'm gonna like it down here. This looks very, very nice and very professional. Okay. All right. So are you ready? Okay. Are you ready to rock your resume and cover letter? Now here's my information. I am here at the Lawrenceburg campus, Batesville site in Southeastern Indiana. You all have a career coach on your campus, or you'll have a career development person that you can reach out to. And I think I can say that all of us, are happy to help any student who reaches out. You can email your resume, call, make an appointment, come in. We love to talk to you all, and just basically make sure that your resume is perfect and rocking so that you can get that interview. So I will now open it up for any discussion or questions that you have. So you can throw it in the chat or come off mute.
Does everybody know how to upload your resume on Hire Ivy to get reviewed by a real person like myself or Aaron or Drew or Wendy or Daryl or Mary? We got a lot of coaches here today.
I do not. If you would
Mhm.
be willing to go over that, I would
I
appreciate
would
it.
love to. Just give me 1 second. Let me get to a student view. So like Wendy showed you how to get into Higher Ivy from My Ivy, your homepage, right? Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is your homepage as a student, and you'll see on the left here is all of the wonderful options that you have. What you'll want to do is go to My Career Documents. When you click on that, there'll be a couple of options for you. You want to do the first one, upload my documents for review. When you click on that, if you're on your phone, you may have to scroll down a little bit as well, but you'll see right here, you can add a new document. And this is where you would upload your resume. You could also upload your cover letter, your transcripts, a writing sample. If you're going for a federal work study position, you have the opportunity to upload that application. That depends on what campus you're at, or any other documents that you might want to put on your career account. And then you would just choose the file here and upload that. And like I said, make sure that it's a Word doc so we can put comments on it and help you format it. You also have the ability here to write some notes. And then this Promote Me to Employers, that is actually a service provided by the platform that's behind Higher Ivy. What they do is put your resume, once it's approved, into a big old bucket that employers can actually go in and be proactive and look for good candidates for their positions. So you have the opportunity to either say yes or no to that. And then once you submit it, it'll go into our queue. And within 24 to 48 hours, that should be reviewed for you. And then you'll get those notes back if you need to make any changes, and continue working virtually with your career coach to get that approved. And then you can start applying for jobs on Higher Ivy or elsewhere.